Dak Prescott's contract. How does that affect Baker Mayfield's? Does it have an effect on what the Browns are going to end up doing with Baker Mayfield coming up here? They're going to pick up the fifth-year option, and that's set in stone. But as they start talking contract extension, is Baker's deal kind of measured against Dak Prescott's?
If he plays really well, it will be. I mean, he's got to continue to play really well, and he's got to continue to put himself in conversation with those guys like Dak, who have been consistent for a while and have shown that they can make plays out of structure and can handle pressure and all of that stuff. So, I think Baker is trending in the right direction. I would not be stunned at all if they gave him a deal this year, this offseason, to sort of supplement what they think is a guy who's an ascending player. But ultimately, if he has a great year, plays really well, the Browns are looking at it from this perspective. If they sign him early, they could put themselves in a position. No, we don't want to hear that, but they could put themselves in a position with a player who's leveled off, and then they got the Jared Goff, Carson Wentz scenario playing out. No one wants it. Not saying that's going to happen, but it is a plausible outcome to the situation. Now, I think he's an ascending player, and if he ascends to be ultimately what he becomes is a really good quarterback, and you start negotiating next year, you're also negotiating with a really good quarterback, so who cares? Like, you're so giddy that you found a great quarterback for the foreseeable future that if you have to pay up a little bit, I don't think anybody in Dallas is upset that they paid up a little bit to keep Dak around and make him the face of the franchise. So, like, that stuff is all there. So, like, yeah, the most realistic outcome here is the fifth-year option happens. They take another year to evaluate him in this offense with the full offseason and weapons around him and all of that to see where he's at. And at the end of next year, you sit down at the table and say, all right, you're going to play out your fifth year and we'll try to work out a deal as it goes and maybe franchise tag you, or can we find some sort of contract here? I think it's the most likely outcome that they try to sit down after next year, see where the numbers sit, see where his production sits, and see if there's a future there. And don't forget that just because he doesn't maybe strike a deal next offseason or this offseason or next, like I said, there's still tags that can be placed and you can find a way to make it work while you figure out what the best message for both sides. But again, don't be concerned like, oh, well, maybe they should get out in front of him and pay him this year. Well, if he kills it next year and he's an MVP candidate and he throws 35 to 40 touchdowns, it's like the Browns probably end up going to like the AFC Championship or Super Bowl. You don't care, man. Pay him. Just pay him whatever he needs. So yeah, that's like the best outcome is he balls out and he's the dude. And like that's great. And you pay him. So, that's where I'm at with it. Be patient. Let him play another year. You got the tag to work with. I'm not a big fan of the franchise tag, but it's there and you can use it and you can keep him around and you can make it work eventually. So, stay patient. See what he's like in another year, Stefanski. And again, if he's not as good as he was this year or he regresses, you're going to be, ooh, I'm glad they didn't give him that deal early. But if he balls out, you're just going to say, pay him. We really like him, pay him. So who cares? So that's where I'm at.